Hello people of YouTube, this is Cool back again with Minecraft as always, and today I'm gonna do a little bit of explanation, that kind of stuff, talk a lot, and yeah. So, first off, for the people who are here for the tutorial bit, that's gonna be a little later in the episode, so if you guys are here straight for the tutorial, great, I'm glad you guys showed up, just, you can either wait around or skip into the video a little later. But right now, I'm getting there for it to be revealed. Or whatever. I don't know. So, just hold your horses. It'll come whenever it does. For the rest of the people who are here because they're subs, or I don't know, they just showed up randomly. They thought this video would look neat. Hi, how you doing? I'm trying to be entertaining, but it's like 2 a.m., so entertaining is going to be weird for me. But either way, basically, I got the idea back, probably about a couple of months ago, and I thought it was actually an original idea, because I was kind of sitting in the middle of class, and I was like, it'd be fun, yeah, and then, I thought it'd be, an original idea, and I was all excited for it, but, after some tiny amount of research, I had already completed the board, I had already done a ton of work. I recruited Rockstar Reed and the Break-A-No. They came over and helped me quite a bit. The Break-A-No is actually... No. I don't want him to push me into the lava. Because that's what he does. Okay. This is incredibly dangerous. But, he's actually doing the exterior. So all of the quartz that you see is from the Break-A-No. Free bread. I almost said free pood. I don't know what that is. So all the quartz is his work. And then the Rockstar Reed, he did a lot of the wool for the board itself. I laid out a moderate design, and then he kind of collected all of it and placed a vast majority of it. The Fancy Hat Spy, he actually donated a ton of stuff, so we have him to thank for diamond blocks and whatnot. The Break-A-No donated some stuff too, so fair deal all around. Either way, I thought it was like an original idea. I was actually really excited for it. And then a tiny amount of research, it's been done before. But I think the one that's been done before has been more creative mode. So I do want to point out that this is all survival, all legits, and all that stuff, so everything you see we did completely survival, no mods, no cheats, no hacks. So do keep that in mind if you're like, well, it doesn't look that good. We know. We're working on it. But players would start here, down here. This will be the go square for the game, but either way, I haven't really figured out a way to signify that it's a go square other than putting some red blocks right here, and everything's mapped out the way it's supposed to be, with railroads and stuff. Here's the jail. These are the purple squares, orange squares. Then as the game progresses, the squares become more expensive, both figuratively and literally. So we have the redstone squares for red blocks, actually, gold for yellow, emerald for green, and then at the end, boardwalk and park place are in diamond. But now for the entertaining part. And this will kind of go into the tutorial a little bit. I don't know if there's anything in here yet. Let's see. Nope, okay. So you guys have heard the pistons fire. I will put all my bread in there, so you'll see that it's loading. I don't have anything on me right now, but when I open this chest, bread. And the reason that we do it this way is basically if this chest here were to be just completely full, you'll see I got another one, just to have books in here for the community chest and the chance cards, a player could come in and I don't know if I guess I want that one or that one. They could take multiples and that kind of stuff. So at least this way it's kind of noticeable. So every time they open it up, they'll receive a book. So you see I got one. Sometimes the books do fire out to the side. This isn't a finished product yet. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. So this is actually, see, like, here, it fired out because this isn't solid or something. I don't know. I'm working on it. Either way. Basically, the way that it works, I'll grab all my bread. You open up the trap chest up there. It runs wire down behind that wall, runs it to this dispenser without a delay. It pops out what would be a book or whatever, and then after 4 ticks, the sticky piston pushes the glass up, and then that makes this whole area solid, and the book basically levitates straight up to the closest open spot because this is all solid. So that's a dropper, and that there. It's really, really simple, but it's a really nice effect. And then here, this is just a chest over hoppers that run down to a double chest, and then underneath the double chest is a hopper running into a hopper running there. Instead of running it just one hopper and over, by doing it the 2 hoppers and then over, that's actually kind of like a shuffle. So basically, when you put stuff in here, it'll get randomized and dropped out in a random location. So the deck is constantly being shuffled, and you'll never know what you're going to get. That has to be recreated over there. And that's really kind of where we're standing right now. It's a lot of books, so it's taking a lot longer than we would like. But basically, once the books are done, and I mean, it's a lot of writing. I think it's 30 books in each deck. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's like 30. It might be lower, might be more. I don't know. That, and then I have to write a book for all the cards on all the way around the board, which is another big task. But either way, that's a community chest, and then chance will be over there in that corner. It'll be the same setup, but possibly mirrored, so it looks a little nicer. And basically, it would just be like you land on chance, then somebody would, like, for now, I'll just break this, I guess. So say this was my marker block. I mark where I am, I'd go over, do the chance, come back to my spot, and then place it and keep going. That's really just the best way we could think about it, because without being too resource intensive, like, I did want to kind of have some sort of, I mean, a lot of logic here for moving like a block around or something with pistons for how many spaces you're supposed to move and stuff like that. And it ended up getting really complicated, really resource intensive, and it's just easier to just have a player put a block down. All right, now here, this is the big, this here is, this is the part I'm really happy about. So basically, what we have here is 1 dice and 2 dice, because Monopoly runs with 2 die. And all these buttons do the same thing. They just roll the dice, and it's a random dice roll every time. So I'll push the button, and give it a second, and there we go. So I rolled a 4. This is my own design for the dice. It's really, really easy. I'll explain that in the next little bit where we get into the tutorial for it. But basically, it's random completely. There is no time clock or anything like that. Only downfall with this dice is it is possible to roll a 0, which I thought was funny. And it is possible to, like, for instance, roll a 0 on 1 die, and then, like, you can actually roll a 1, which isn't possible in Monopoly, but you can do it here. If you roll a 0, you just roll again, and, 1 is still a number, so you advance 1. It's a really, really, really rare chance, but it does happen. And then the way we do, like, for a double roll, so, like, if you have to get, like, a pair of 3s or a pair of 4s, you know what I mean? Like, so where you collect, like, the community pot or whatever for all the free parking spaces and stuff. We do that by if you get the same number on 1 dice as the other. So I actually rolled doubles here, which is awesome. So I would get all the money. So see how there's 2 there and 2 there. But now for the little bit of logic here. It's incredibly small amount of redstone, really. It just looks really complicated. So once it's, like, laid out in the tutorial, then you'll really kind of see how it all works. But right now it's just because it was a lot of folding to make it all compact. So this is the redstone, and of course we had to glass it off because it's a lot of work. I think this took us about 2 hours to compact it all together, and it was about an hour for doing it in creative mode on a private world server thing, and then total design time was about 3 hours or so. But it looks really compact, but it's really not. It's really easy. And I do not know the dimensions at all. And depending on how you run your wires, this thing could probably be like a lot smaller too, but we are not going back in and doing this in creative mode, or doing it even like creative mode would be nuts. Doing it in survival mode would be even more nuts. So basically it is how it is, and we're just designing the building around it. Also, all the quartz and stuff you see is the Breakino, so give him props for that. But either way, yeah, so this is the redstone. It does look really complicated. A lot of people are really impressed with like how intricate it looks, and then if I explain how it works, they're all like, oh, well, never mind. So, yeah, so now I'm going to hop over into the flatland mode, where all the designing for this came out, and we'll go see how it all works, so you guys can use this design, put it in your world, do whatever you want with it, and we'll go from there. So let's, oh god, lag. Now seems like a good time to go anyway. Alright, and we're back. So this is a single player creative world that I've run for a lot of different testing. Over here is like my train station, but that's not important. We're not doing any of this stuff, so don't worry about any of that. This here is what we're here to see. Really quick though, this is the card shuffler, in case anyone wanted to see kind of an expanded version or something. So that's how that works, basically. The only difference between this and the survival is the chest is over here instead of being right next to it. Now, here is the dice, which still might look a little complicated, but I promise it's not. The interface looks different, but again, it is a normal die, so basically I push the button. This one's actually a little slower, which is a little weird. Why didn't that work? Oh, piece of redstone's broken. Doop doop. There we go, fixed. Just give it a second. There. We had one move. But basically, if you imagine this as this 6 here being one dice, and then this 6 being another dice, that's kind of the difference. The interface, in all honesty, this interface can look however you guys want. But here's how it works, basically. So, what we do is our button is wired to a repeater with no delay. And then it's just repeater, no delay, and then you're just basically copying that all the way down. Which, oh god, lag again. I don't know why I'm lagging. This is weird. Oh god, one second. Alright, we'll see if that's a little nicer. Might be. Alright, so, and then all these it's... Go away. Just because I can. Alright, so all these is this here's a dropper facing up, and then this here's a hopper going straight back into the dropper. So right there's a, this could be a minecart. I just happened to have chest carts, so this was what I chose. So it's a minecart. It could also be tools, so like if you have a bunch of wooden hoes or something, this is also really where they would be useful. And then, so it's something that cannot stack, like a tool or a piece of armor, and something that can stack to 64. So redstone, because it can stack to 64, can also be dirt. It doesn't really matter. And then the way that this works is every time this gets powered, the dropper, when the dropper gets powered, it'll push up, and it'll push up into this hopper. This hopper then will get either the stack of 64 item, so it'll either get the redstone or the cart. And with that, I'll get a lag spike. Again, for some reason, I don't know. Wow, it is going all on. Sorry about that. Alright. And then the hopper will output a signal to... There we go. It doesn't matter if the light's up or not. really doesn't. So it'll output a signal to here, and if it's the stack of 64 item, which make sure there's only one of those, but if it's the stack of 64 item, it'll only output a source of 1. So what'll happen is nothing. Nothing at all. So if the light on the die corresponding with this line of wire is, say, on, it'll stay on. Or if it's off, it'll stay off. Now, if it gets the cart, it'll output 2, which is enough to go into this repeater, this piece of redstone, come up here, and T flip-flop. And then basically with the T flip-flop, it'll change. So if the light was on, now it turns off, and if the light was off, now it turns on. And that's where our random comes from. And then all it is a repetitive pattern for 12 lights. So it all goes down. It's the exact same thing all the way down. The trick really is just to make sure that none of the wires cross with each other, because say you have this one here and they're touching, now you get 2 that are lined up from one wire. So to avoid that, you just make sure that none of them collide with each other. And then every time you push the button, all those get powered, and then some will switch, some won't. And then basically the reason that it looked all complicated, because it might still look a little complicated to people, but I mean, if from this angle, you can tell that it's really just a lot of straight wiring, so it doesn't look that complicated when it's all panned out. Once you kind of compact it all together, and I probably did a really poor job with compacting it, I probably could have made it look a little nicer, make it look a little neater, but we tried to go for the smallest space possible. That's when it really starts to kind of get complicated. And it's really just making sure wires aren't touching each other. And that like blocks aren't powering other pieces of redstone and stuff like that. But that's the basic idea for how to make like the easiest dice in the game. And it's always completely random because oops, not the hopper. Don't know how those got in there. Or those, that's really weird. Okay. Someone must have died over the hoppers. Yeah. So, just as another thing, guys, to prevent things from going into the hoppers, once you've filled them, then you're going to want to take a line of just a solid block and just do right over the top. It's really hard to place like this. Oops. There, I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. Okay. So yeah, just like that. So that way blocks don't fall in it later. Now, it's pretty much set up. This is going to work every time. You never have to reload the materials. They'll never despawn or anything. They don't pop out or land on the floor or something like that. Like the books over there. The books will do that occasionally. But these are guaranteed to always work, that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's just a neat effect. You can do as many lights as you want. Right now I've only done up to 12. And then with there not being a time clock or anything like that, it's not server intensive. So you're not going to have an issue with somebody saying, you know, you have to turn a clock off every so often or something like that to stop server lag. Because there isn't anything to cause server lag. All the redstone's either off or on all the time. But every time you roll, it's just going to change over, be random. So I think this will be something nice where people can use this in like different games and stuff like that. I just kind of came up with it because I wanted to play Monopoly. Unfortunately, Monopoly's a little outdated, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care. I'm still going to play the game. But basically, that's it. It's, again, not complicated, not hard to do. It's just rather tedious, especially doing it in survival mode. But if you build it in creative mode first, then you're going to have a lot easier time just figuring out where everything has to go and stuff like that. Definitely map out your work before you do it. I found that it's a lot easier that way. Now for the other portion of this. Once Monopoly's done, which hopefully will be by, let's see, probably the 11th maybe? So 5/11/2013, we're going to play our very first game of Minecraft Monopoly. We would gladly accept one more player to come on, maybe 2, maybe 7, I don't know, a bunch of people to come on and play Minecraft Monopoly for us. Or with us, probably with us. I don't know why I said for us, that wouldn't make any sense. So if you guys did make it to this part of the video, congratulations, you're invited to come play Monopoly with us. So that's pretty much it. Outside of that, if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I do read all of them. I'll try to help out as best I can. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, rate, comment, love it, like it, and as always, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.